All right, you wacky wall walkers, let's talk about CarMax.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, please hold me, don't show me, Obi.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the NebrAlien channel. My name is Justin, and I just bought another car from CarMax. If you're here, I'm going to assume that you know what CarMax is, and if you're a subscriber of mine, I'm sure you're wondering, why the hell is this guy making another CarMax video? The answer is actually pretty simple. They bring in views. My passion is not making CarMax videos. I want to talk about aliens and how wacky religions are, which is why I'm going to plug my other channel right now called The NebrAlien Show. History, mystery, aliens, religion, all of the stuff that will either keep you up at night or put you right to sleep. Check out the channel, link in the description. However, on this channel, the algorithm loves it when I talk about how awesome CarMax is, so let's get right into it. I'm going to take you through this video starting with what's new at CarMax, the money-back guarantee, the warranty, the no haggle pricing, do you get your money's worth, the quality of the vehicles, and financing. We're also going to talk about transfers, trading your car, the MaxCare extended warranty, as well as other stuff to expect, and not really in that particular order. All right, so the biggest change to come from CarMax recently is that they no longer offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. That has been cut back to 10 days, which is not a surprise to me. I mean, 10 days is still pretty generous, but it's more than enough time to figure out buyer's remorse, but it's still a pretty big change. Officially, it went from a 30-day, 1,500-mile limit to a 10-day, no-mileage limit money-back guarantee. They still do offer the 24-hour test drive and the limited warranty that covers your major vehicle systems for 90 days or 4,000 miles, whichever comes first. It's also been said that they have tightened their lending standards and are more cautious about who they will finance. Even just a few years ago, it seemed like they were giving loans out to anybody, but it seems like they're getting pickier now. In older videos, I said that CarMax was a place where people with little or no, little to no credit, sometimes even bad credit, could go for financing, but they have become more cautious, most likely due to the amount of money that they're losing due to increased repossessions and lending costs. It turns out that lending money to people with bad credit and spotty work history is a bad idea. Moving right along, CarMax is the largest used car dealership in the United States, and the biggest criticism about CarMax is that they are too expensive. The truth is, yes, they are more expensive, but the real question is, do you get your money's worth? The price is a concern for a lot of people because they set a price and do not give people the opportunity to negotiate that price down. You're probably here because you're thinking about buying a car at CarMax, but maybe you've heard that, maybe you're not sure because you've heard that they rip people off by charging way too much and they don't let you haggle. But let's look at this whole process of being able to negotiate cars in the first place, okay? In order to get a better understanding of the CarMax process, you're going to have to change the way that you really think about buying a car. Traditionally, what you do is go on the Kelley Blue Book and you try to get a semi-accurate value for the car that you're thinking about buying. Then you go to the dealership and you try to negotiate a couple $100s off of the car based on that value. Some people think that they're an ace at this game, and some people actually are, but most of us aren't. What ends up happening 99% of the time at traditional dealerships is, they price a vehicle well over what the actual price that they need to sell it is, okay? Then they let you feel a little bit better when you get the car for a little bit less than initial asking price. But they have a price that they are not willing to go under. No matter who you are, you're not going to go below that price, okay? These car dealerships are not going to lose any money selling a car to you. It doesn't matter how good your negotiation skills are. They always have a number that they are not willing to go under. Traditional dealerships love doing business this way because they end up coming out on top most of the time. It's like gambling at a casino. The house always wins. You have to take into consideration that sometimes they sit on inventory so long that they are willing to sell it at a loss just to recoup some of their money and to get that car off the lot, but that doesn't happen very often. This is why I like CarMax. They do not haggle prices, okay? There's no negotiating. They set a price on a vehicle, and if you want that car, you pay that price. It's that simple. What I like to say, when you shop at CarMax, it's more like buying a computer. You find something with the power and the features that you want, that's in the price range you want, and then you pay that price on the sticker. Given CarMax's popularity, it's clear that a lot of other people like the no haggle method as well. It's a good business model for auto sales. And I know what some people are saying right now at this point. Nope, BS, CarMax is just too expensive. Arguably, Any used car that you buy is going to be based on market value. It's worth what you're willing to pay for it. That's it. And CarMax has also been trying to get ahead of that by lowering overhead. It's been reported that they have axed a bunch of driver positions as well as leadership and more across the company. Unfortunate series of events for those who wanted to work for this company, but they are trying to keep up with competitors like Carvana, who are able to price their cars a little bit cheaper due to the much lower overhead that they have. Some used car dealerships, keep this in mind, still sell cars as is, no warranty. All right, that means that you could be driving down the street in the car that you just bought and the transmission falls out, and then they will tell you, tough luck, you bought this as is, no warranty. This is why used car dealerships get a bad rep. I mean, deservedly so. Look at Matilda's dad, okay? It's a running joke. This is why any established used car dealership isn't a buy here pay here place. They have some kind of a guarantee in place, and it's all thanks to CarMax. CarMax really made this popular. With the amount of work that goes into making sure that they deliver a good product to the consumer, I would argue that you do get your money's worth, all right? But yes, let's address the cost because, CarMax is more expensive. You end up paying anywhere from hundreds to $1,000 more when you buy a car at CarMax, but what do you get? Is it even worth it? Starting with the quality of CarMax vehicles. Every vehicle that CarMax sells goes through a 125-point inspection process. That means they are making sure that every vehicle is up to a certain standard, that standard being a product that will not fail. One, because that would be bad publicity. They thrive on positive reviews and word of mouth. They do not want bad publicity. Two, because it would cost them money. They actually have guarantees in place, not just a sales pitch. If something slips through their inspection process, they take care of it. Of course, that guarantee it's based on the competence of their employees, all right? From the bottom to the top, CarMax is not invulnerable. Any business, or for the purpose of this video, a corporate company like CarMax, any location is susceptible to bad actors. A business is only as good as its local management. And on the local level, if a CarMax location is being run by morons, then you may run into a couple of issues. I say this because these videos reach a larger audience, and I've heard several firsthand accounts from people who've had terrible experiences with CarMax, like some really bad on the level of Matilda's dad. But, and I say this confidently, most of the comments have been positive. That's why I still have faith in this company. On the whole, CarMax has been a solid choice when it comes to purchasing a used vehicle. The point is, the company has a process, and when that process is followed, they sell a really good product, and they back that product up with some really good guarantees. Most of the time, you don't have to worry about whether the car you're buying is a piece of garbage or not. So now let's start going over the sales process. All right, this part of the video is going to help you with what to expect and how to be better prepared for purchasing a vehicle through CarMax. You can go the online route. You can have a car delivered to you if you're within 60-mile radius of a CarMax store, or you can go to their location the old-fashioned way like a boomer, all right? Either way, the steps of the sales process are going to be similar. You're going to pick a car, come up with a down payment, apply for financing, insure the car, sign the papers, and then get your car. I'm not a fan of the 100% online sales approach when it comes to buying a car. In my opinion, you should test drive the vehicle before you do anything else. My favorite approach is to start the process by checking out the local inventory online. Then I will select a few cars that I want to go check out. I will set up an appointment to go to the store and finish the process with a salesperson. One thing that I would always recommend is setting up an appointment versus just showing up to the dealership. I'm not saying that some of you won't get lucky, but a lot of the time, especially on the weekend, you'll be put on a long wait list. Like I said earlier, CarMax is less staffed than it was in the past since they've been trying to cut overhead costs, so there are less people there to help you. If all you want to do is, go on the lot, look at vehicles and not test drive anything, that's fine. But if you want to buy a car, then your best bet is to have an appointment. All right. Next step is going to be picking your car. You're either going to do that online before you set up an appointment, or it will be the first thing that you do during your appointment. Some people want to walk to the dealership and they want to start running numbers. They want to know if they will even be approved for a loan, or maybe they just want to see what the interest rate, will be. And I get it. Some people don't want to get their hopes up on a car if they're ultimately just going to be denied for a loan. but you can't run numbers if you don't know what numbers to run. You're going to need to select a vehicle first so that you have a dollar amount to ask the bank for. This is why their top priority is going to be to get you to pick a car first. You can do all of this online, but I always recommend going into the dealership and test driving a few vehicles. I'll repeat that. The sales associate is going to be laser focused on getting you to select a car first because they can't run your credit and they can't get you approved for a loan until you have a specific vehicle to be approved for. They can do a pre-qualification, but that's going to be based on how much money you make and, your rough credit score. It's not a guaranteed approval. The quickest way to get through the purchasing process at CarMax is to select a car first. I'm going to touch quickly on transferring a vehicle from another location because this is another thing that CarMax offers. They have a huge inventory of vehicles to choose from, so you're not limited to your local dealer. Each location typically has a network of dealerships, close to them that they will transfer vehicles for free. For instance, here in Omaha, you can have a car transferred from Des Moines for free. However, if your car is, if the car that you want is outside of the free transfer zone, you could pay anywhere from $99 to $850, to get that vehicle delivered to the store. And that fee is typically 99% of the time non-refundable. Not saying that it's impossible to get your money back, but if the vehicle shows up in good condition and you just change your mind, you're not going to get that transfer fee refunded. Now on to trade-ins. One of the first questions they will ask you when you walk in is if you have a vehicle that you want to trade in. They do this so that they can hand the keys over to the appraisal team and get your old car looked at while you're selecting a new one. The process is also different from what goes down in a traditional dealership. They will make you an offer to buy your car regardless of whether you're going to trade that car in or not. The offer that they give you is also non-negotiable. You won't be able to say, give me $1,000 more for my trade-in and you got yourself a deal. If they offer you $5,000 for your car, that's all they're willing to pay. The no haggle rule applies to their trade-ins as well. They will put an offer to buy your car down on paper. That paper or that offer is going to be good for 7 days. You can use that money as a down payment if you want. But again, this number does not change and you won't be able to leverage the value of your trade-in to negotiate the price of your new car. The appraisal team at CarMax, they aren't even part of the sales team. It's almost easier to think of CarMax as two sides to one company. You have the side of the company that wants to buy your car and you have the other side that wants to sell you a car. All right, as I said before, we're moving right into the extended warranties now. You do get a 10-day no mileage limit money back guarantee and a limited warranty that covers your vehicle's major systems for 90 days or 4,000 miles, whichever comes first. But you also have the option to sign up for their extended coverage called MaxCare. Do you need it? Not necessarily, but you do have to ask yourself a few questions before you turn it down. Even though you are purchasing a used vehicle that has been put through a 125-point plus inspection, you are still purchasing a used vehicle. It's a risk, all right? The question is, are you or anyone in your family mechanically inclined, all right? If after your 90-day warranty is up, are you going to be able to replace a water pump if it goes out? Do you have an extra $8,000 in the bank if your transmission goes out after you've owned the vehicle for a year? If you can afford, or at the very least, perform major mechanical work to be done on your vehicle, then you do not need MaxCare, all right? This is just an extended warranty that will cover your vehicle from major mechanical, all right? Even though, arguably, if something big does fail on your car, like a transmission failure, the cost of MaxCare will typically be much less than the cost of fixing it yourself, but it's a gamble, all right? I've purchased extended warranties in the past and didn't have any mechanical issues at all. Some could argue that it's a waste of money, and maybe it is, but I'm willing to roll a couple of $1,000s into the cost of the vehicle for that peace of mind. So let's go over what you get with MaxCare, as well as about how much that it's going to cost you. The MaxCare calculator that they have on the website will give you a rough idea of about how much that MaxCare would cost. The initial pricing that they got up is anywhere from $1,600 to $1,800. And if you look over here to the right, it gives you the average cost of some parts associated, some of these common covered repairs: alternator $400 to $500, radiator $800 to $1,000, so on and so forth. But let's be honest, most of the time you're not going to buy a car from CarMax 9,000 or less miles. It's usually going to be about that 19,000 mile mark. And as you can see, as you navigate through the calculator and pick different options, the price goes up, the price goes down, all of that good stuff. I would say for a sedan above 19,000 miles, $200 or $400, these are the most popular deductible options. You're going to be looking at about $2,000 to $2,300, which would add an extra $37 to $44 per month. I like over here to the right that it starts giving you some updated pricing when you switch through the different vehicle options. Like a truck or an SUV is obviously going to have more. I mean, the parts are going to be more expensive than they are in a sedan. So that's pretty cool that it kind of updates those parts. So yeah, play around with this. Again, if you wanted to do, let's say, an SUV that is between 14, no, we'll just say above 19,000 miles, and you do the $400 deductible because you're trying to keep the total cost cheap, then you can see right here that for that SUV above 19,000 miles with $400 deductible, then you're going to pay about $1,800 to $2,200 for that. With being rolled into your loan, it's going to be an extra $35 to $41 per month. But yeah, definitely hop on here, play with this thing, check it out. While we're on the subject, we'll just cover again really quickly what that MaxCare would cover you on. It'll protect the engine, electronics, suspension, transmission, electrical systems, cooling systems, drivetrain, steering, and climate control. It also offers that emergency roadside assistance, discounted deductibles. You're going to get $50 off of that deductible if you take it to a CarMax service center or one of their repaired shops, nationwide protection, and rental reimbursement. And then it also gives you a quick list of all the stuff that's not covered. Maintenance service parts such as batteries, brakes, trim, wiper blades, blah, blah, blah. Certain vehicle components. Anyway, it's all right there on the website. So if you're thinking about that MaxCare as an option, hop on the website, check out the benefits, and then run through that calculator to see how much it's going to cost you. Like I said, this is more of a peace of mind purchase than anything, but I will give you a little insider information as a former employee. I used to work for CarMax. I will always recommend CarMax as a good place to buy used cars, but never as a good place to work. The micromanagement was just unbearable. They wanted you to be an automaton and recite the sales script verbatim. They did not care for any inkling of human thought when it came to selling a car. Just stick to the script. But I digress. I have to separate myself from the fact that I used to work there in order to tell people that it's actually a good place to buy cars from. Anyway, insider info. At some point, with your salesperson, while you're with your salesperson, usually during the test drive, they will mention something about how great the extended warranty is, all right? That is what they call planting the seed. Every time the salesperson says something like, I had a friend that bought a car, and when this one thing that no one expected to fail ended up failing, MaxCare took care of it. They are planting that seed. You are guaranteed to hear a MaxCare saved the day story at some point before you finish the sale. They want that story, that seed, to sit inside of your mind and grow a little bit before it's time to sit down and make a decision. It's actually an excellent sales strategy. Financing. Financing is going to be one of the last steps before being able to drive that vehicle off the lot. It's kind of like the drum roll leading up to the final reveal of whether or not you've made good life choices. So I mentioned financing a lot because that's how most people that purchase a car through CarMax are going to pay for their car. However, you can buy a car from them cash, all right? You can pay cash, you can write a check, whatever, but this is not going to save you any money off of the sticker price. I'm going to revert back to that no haggle pricing. Not even buying a vehicle outright will give you the power to negotiate the price. They do not haggle. Again, CarMax does offer in-house financing as well as partners with other banks. So there are some banks competing for your loan. They will usually go with their own in-house financing first if you're approved. Obviously they will, right? Because they get a nice little chunk of that. They get the interest and all that. But if their in-house financing says no, then they will pull from a handful of other banks and see who is willing to lend the money. Like I said earlier, they have been getting a little bit pickier about who they lend to. So they might not approve you if you have challenged credit. Honestly, your best option is going to be to find your own lender. All right. Let's say you have a good relationship with your own bank. They might be able to offer you a personal loan with a much better interest rate. All right. That is good credit territory. Not a lot of people can pull a good low interest personal loan from their bank unless they have good credit. But honestly, that's the best way to save the most money and get the best interest rate. This next part is very important. So many people get excited about buying a car only for the deal to be put on hold because they did not have the proper documentation at the time of purchase. Bring some documentation with you when you go in for your appointment. All right, here is what you're going to need. A valid driver's license is required for all vehicle sales. Proof of insurance. And not only proof of insurance in general, at some point during the sales process, after you've been approved for financing, you're going to have to add that new car to an insurance plan. In order to drive that vehicle off the lot, it will need to be insured. Most insurance companies let you add the vehicle right on the app, so you can get this done in minutes. But make sure you either have the phone number to your insurance company or your agent handy, or that you know how to log into your insurance app. It is embarrassing if you're trying to fumble through resetting a password during the process. Next is proof of income. The lender will need proof that you are making money, so bring your most recent pay stubs with you. Most companies these days have an app or website that you can log in to get that stuff. You will also need your most recent bank statement, so make sure that you either have access to your banking app or swing by the bank and have them print one up for you. You're going to need proof of residence. You might need to be able to prove that you are a legal citizen of this country or that you are a legal resident of the state that you live in. Verified contact info. This one is new and it's kind of a pain in the ass. You will need a phone bill, landline, cell phone, contracted or family plans. Note, your address must be consistent with your finance application, and if you're on a family plan, your name must be listed on the billing statement next to your phone number. I bring this up for younger people who are on their parents' plan. Sometimes the plan will have a phone number listed that's your phone number, but it doesn't have your name next to it. It's just on the family plan listed as a number that's under the owner account. The verified contact info, what you have to have is a document that has your name and your phone number next to each other. So basically, your name has to be on your parents' bill somewhere. They can add you, like on Verizon. This is how I did it with my daughter. I just put her name next to her phone number, and that worked. So if your name is not listed on that phone bill, then you're not going to be able to use it for verified contact info, and you will need it. So word to the wise. Next is address verification. Your bank statement can work for this as long as it has your current address, but you should bring a recent bill with you that has your name on it as well. A recent phone bill can work as long as you own the plan that you're on. If you're on your parents' plan, it will work for your verified contact info, but not as an address verification for you. Your bank statement and pay stubs should be good enough as long as they have your current address, but I always like to be a little bit extra prepared. Also, do not, and this is a big one, do not use any bills that say disconnect notice or past due. This will get you denied very quickly. It shows negligence on your financial responsibilities. A bank statement with a negative balance is also not the best idea. No past dues, no disconnect notices, no negative balances. All right, you will get turned down. Next, we're going to look at something else. Another thing that I would recommend doing is playing around with a loan calculator before you even get started looking at the car. If you have a round monthly number that you're trying to achieve, then it's best to plug in some simple information and figure out what price range that you need to stick to. We're going to play around with this one. This is CarMax Loan Calculator. Let's check it out. The car payment calculator on their website is a very useful tool. What you're going to do is start over here with the monthly payment. Figure out how much you can afford for your monthly payment, all right? Do not start thinking about SUVs or anything else until you sit down and think about how much you want or how much you can afford every month. We're just going to plug in about $400, all right? And then come over here through either running your credit report or go to Credit Karma or something and get a rough idea of what your credit score is. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to stick with good. And then right off of the bat, we're looking that if you want a $400 payment, right now you can only afford about a $10,000, $11,000 vehicle. That's where we start playing with these things. All right, that's only for a 36-term loan. All right, if you want to push it all the way to the top, and if you want to spend 5-6 years paying for this thing, you're going to be able to buy more car. You're going to be paying for it for a while. But if you want, if you want twice the buying power, you can go ahead and spread that out over more months, and then right away we've already got $18,000 versus that $11,000. A lot of the time, to be honest with you, you're going to want to bring a down payment anyway, unless you have really good credit. Most of the time, the bank is going to want you to put something down anyway. So we're just going to plug in $1,000 first. Obviously, that's going to give us about $1,000 more in buying power, and that's pretty much how it works. You want to go $2,500. Then the more buying power you have. So for a $400 monthly payment with a $2,500 down payment for a 72-term month loan, then you're looking at about a $21,000 vehicle. All right? This is a pretty useful tool. Check it out. Play with it. It'll give you an idea of what you're going to pay per month. And I'll leave a link for the calculator in the description. So there you have it. Figure out how much you can afford. Pick a car, get an appointment, make sure that you have all of your documentation rounded up, test drive the car, and then run your financing. To wrap this video up, I am going to mention one of CarMax's biggest competitors, Carvana. I get asked from time to time which used car place is better, CarMax or Carvana. For me, it boils down to one main factor, which we will get to in a minute. But side by side, both CarMax and Carvana offer no haggle pricing and the ability to view up-to-date inventory online. Both offer a money-back guarantee. CarMax is 10 days unlimited miles. Carvana's is 7 days 400 miles. Winner CarMax. They both offer a limited warranty. CarMax is 90 days or 4,000 miles, whichever comes first. Carvana is 100 days or 4,189 miles. Winner slightly Carvana, although that's arguable because there have been reports that Carvana has deductibles with their limited warranty, and they also have an issue with claims being denied because they have a more rigorous process and they're more staunch about oil changes and timing belts being replaced. So we're going to say slight winner Carvana still, but keep in mind that there have been negative reports about their warranty claims being denied. CarMax has more inventory and more physical locations. Winner CarMax. Carvana has less overhead by having less locations and less employees, making their cars cheaper on average. Winner Carvana. However, when it comes to the better option of the two, it is going to be CarMax. The reason being is it's easier to test drive the vehicle and make sure that it looks like it says it does in the pictures before purchasing the vehicle. Unless you go to Carvana, you go to one of their vending machines, you basically have to purchase the car before it's shipped to you. And too often the car is not exactly what it looks like in the pictures. You may find swirls in the paint or mismatched panels. Some people have had the car shipped to them only to find out that it smells like smoke or they don't even fit into it. They have to ship the car back and then wait for another one to be brought back out. It is much simpler to test drive multiple vehicles on the spot and pick your favorite in real time before you even think about making a commitment to buy. Thank you for checking out the video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd ask that you please help me out with a like, share, and follow. It's tough work trying to grow a channel, so I appreciate each new subscriber that I get. And if you didn't like the video, thanks for hanging out until the end anyway. Now, this next part is for you select few weirdos out there. If you're a fan of history, mystery, religion, aliens, UFOs, and other weird stories, then I'd like to invite you to check out my new channel called The NebrAlien Show. Are you curious about a possible extraterrestrial religion? How about a real-world matrix? Or evidence of alien life? These are all episodes you can check out now on the NebrAlien Show channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Please go check it out. Leave some comments. Tell me what strange stuff you'd like to hear me talk about. Thanks again for watching the video. Be sure to check out the NebrAlien Show and take care of yourselves out there. We'll see you.
You made this? Awesome.
I ride a hippopotamus. I ride a hippopotamus. You can ride my hippopotamus. You can